and welcome to Automation Fair 2022 in Chicago. I'm Teresa Hauk, Executive Editor of the Journal from Rockwell Automation and our partner Network Magazine. This is the show to be at if you want to see the top companies in industrial automation, and one of those companies is Stratus Technologies. I'm here to tell you about an excellent case study about edge computing and how it can help you with digital transformation. So I'm going to talk to these gentlemen, and you're going to learn a lot from this application. So let's start with you, Michael.
Okay.
Tell us about the QuarterNorth Energy project, just a brief overview.
Teresa, I work for QuarterNorth Energy. It's an exploration and production company that operates in the Gulf of Mexico. We have a diverse asset base, including production facilities in deep water and shallow water. One of them, the specific case study for this, was our Bullwinkle platform in Green Canyon 65. At the time, in 1988, it was the largest man-made structure in the world. Things changed. We don't have that claim to fame anymore, but it was a very large platform, and it is still a very large platform and producer today. At the time, it was nameplated for 200,000 barrels of oil per day. It produces much less now, but from a strategic standpoint, it's located just less than 100 miles off the shore of Louisiana and is next to, or what we expect to be next to, a future exploration aspect. So this platform, very large, very complex facility, but a very important strategic asset to our company.
Can you give us just a few metrics to give us an idea of how large this thing is?
Well, at the time, it was about 1,500 feet tall, 77,000 tons of steel, nameplated over 200,000 barrels per day. So from a production standpoint and from a size standpoint, this was the biggest as they come. Now, of course, that was 1988. That was over 30 years ago, so some things have changed. It is now no longer the largest, but it's still several production decks, a very large facility, 6 different production systems, not including the originally designed dry tree well bays on the platform, so very large system.
That's amazing. Now, Eric, I know the SAT to restart took only 45 days. Can you tell us about that and why that's amazing?
Yeah, so what we're talking about is we did a full control system migration, upgrade, swap out from a PLC5 and a certain amount of HMIs to a full Rockwell ControlLogix PlantPAx solution with factory talk HMIs. The 45-day window is important because we're talking 6,000 IO, full control system swap out, HMI, full network swap out with Ethernet and redundant networks. We're talking 120 plus remote IO panels. So in normal circumstances, this is something that would normally take 6 to 12 months, maybe even longer. I mean, that's being very aggressive. We were able to do from stop to start of the facility again in 45 days, a lot of which was actually driven by construction. We could have even shaved 45 days to something smaller had that not happened.
And can you tell us about Enginuity Global and what your role was in the project?
Yeah, so Enginuity Global, we're an automation and controls company. We do automation controls, electrical engineering, and field services. And our role was to, from design to implementation, on execution of this overall control system upgrade.
Thank you. And Jason, tell us about Stratus Technology and the edge computing platform that you implemented there.
Sure. To effectively build a foundation for all of the new technology that Enginuity was going to deploy, they selected Stratus ftServer. It allowed them to build a long-term, highly reliable, fault-tolerant platform to deploy a lot of different packages on. It allowed them to consolidate from many, many servers that had been deployed over time into a single server platform, and really enabled them to also grow and scale over time as Bullwinkle begins to mature and do new things.
Thanks. And this project was implemented in 2 phases. Eric, can you kind of do an overview of the challenges you faced in the first phase?
Yeah, so first phase, just like with any project, there's a way to make progress and make systems better. In our case, outside of loop tuning and alarm rationalization, is to virtualize the computer aspects of the facility. And we did so with utilizing ftServer as our main backbone and completely virtualizing every piece of computer equipment on the facility, thus allowing for us to be hardware independent and put that nuisance behind us.
And Jason, can you talk about how the edge computing platform helped meet the challenges, what the user needed from that?
Well, one of the big challenges they had was reliability. They had a lot of systems failing. That caused a lot of problems, potentially causing them unplanned downtime in some circumstances, which ultimately cost the facility money. The other piece of it was ultimately the idea of standardization. As we've mentioned, it's been owned by multiple people over time. They brought in their own technology, did it their way. QuarterNorth really wanted to standardize the operation, standardize the technology, and centralize it. So ftServer ultimately was the foundation upon which they could do that.
And Eric, I'm picking on you again. Can you tell me the implications of some of these challenges on the automation and control system?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the hardware was no longer the existing hardware was no longer supported. So finding parts, things of that nature, was no longer available to us. Increased downtime, decreased productivity. All of those things come into play when you're dealing with an outdated control system.
And Michael, I know the project implemented the PlantPAx Modern DCS. How did the platform benefit from that?
So I had mentioned this platform was first installed in 1988, and it did pass through several operators before it came into QuarterNorth ownership. Each operator had a different philosophy. The way that the platform was designed before this project was for a decentralized operation philosophy where you would have multiple personnel, we call them operators because they operate the facility, actually roam the multiple production decks, inspect, operate, maintain, tweak, tune various pieces of equipment. Well, our operating philosophy is a centralized philosophy where we want the entire plant to have one person be able to monitor. Now, that doesn't mean one person can do everything, but one person has complete surveillance over every single process condition on the plant. Before this upgrade, as Eric alluded to, we actually had several different systems. In the control room before this upgrade, one of the systems we had was a iFix4 HMI. Another system was a Wonderware HMI, and then we also had iFix6. So I know these are maybe new acronyms to some people, but it's actually a three separate standalone systems that multiple people had to operate. And each system actually was daisy-chained together through a token passing algorithm, so that changes in one system actually had to be passed to another system. From a process standpoint, was not very responsive to changes, but from an operation standpoint, that required several different people in several different stations being able to talk to each other, and sometimes information doesn't pass from person to person to person. So with this specific project, we were able to consolidate it. Even though we have multiple stations throughout the platform, we have one control room and one main control room operator.
That's really powerful. And Eric, again, can you talk about the implementation of the automation and control software and what that involved?
Yeah, so when it comes to the actual control system upgrade itself, was pretty rigorous. The documentation was disarray. There's not a lot of knowledge from the different handovers from time to time, so we had to figure out a good solution of reverse engineering the existing system and deploying the system in a way that has good standardization of the approach and how everything's programmed, and also easy to maintain. It doesn't take someone with high level experience to maintain the system, and also bring more visibility and efficiencies to the operations team, as well as the actual production of the facility as well. And
Jason, can you talk about why the ftServer from Stratus, the Edge platform, was ideal for this application, and also Edge computing is ideal for a lot of other industries and applications. Can you also talk about those too?
So in this particular case, it came down to our unique architecture of the system being completely mirrored. Every bit that runs across one side of the system runs across the other. So it made it very easy to, if there was a failure, pass over to the other system, the backup system. All of our parts are hot swappable, and we also provide remote monitoring of our system. So for any type of solution where there's a system deployed where there's not a lot of IT people or a lot of technology skill set, it's great because it's very serviceable and it doesn't fail. And if it does fail, it's easy to fix. We do a lot in the oil and gas industry, like with QuarterNorth, but we also do a lot in discrete manufacturing, as well as other industries, such as food and beverage, and waste and water. So, we're kind of all over these remote site types of edgy, as they say, locations. So yeah, that's pretty good business for us.
And also for you.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about what you see as the future for edge computing and where that's going?
We're definitely seeing a shift towards more IT influence over what's being deployed at the edge. So, cybersecurity, those types of controls are being deployed. Access control technologies. You're also starting to see people do more with the data itself and passing the data from place to place. So streaming analytics and things like that. So I'd say what's happening is that there's a need for more performance and scale at the edge. Whereas I think if you looked at edge technology a couple years ago, it was focused on very small, kind of autonomous types of systems. These new systems are a lot more connected and they have to participate as part of the entire business as opposed to just solving a unit problem like a lot of the old edge equipment does.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. There's a lot more to this case study, so you can get more information at the URL on your screen, and you can also listen to the free on-demand webinar that we conducted and I moderated. And I thank you for watching. I'm Teresa Hauk with the Journal magazine. We'll see you next time.